Hello dreamers, welcome back to this new appointment on my channel. I'll give you a spoiler right away. And yes, the answer to the question AI or not is yes. We need it. If we want to keep up with the times, we have to use it to our advantage. Attention, not to replace our work as a graphic designer, but to help us in our work. But why I'm talking to you about this today? Personally, my work as a graphic designer is developed on two main operating systems, namely macOS and iPadOS. On this channel, I'm letting you discover part of my work that I do on my iPad, but it's obviously only a small part. In the future, I think we'll make new tutorials for the Mac too. I think it could be interesting for everyone. Today I want to introduce you to some things that speed up my work process here on iPad, things that take advantage of AI. Before continuing, I thank you for your support. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell and like. I also invite you to comment on the videos. This helps the algorithm to make me know. Let me know when you have seen the whole video what you think and if you want other content about AI. Ok, vamos! Now we can continue to have fun and learn new things. None of us forced to use artificial intelligence, so anyone who is not interested can close the video. In my case, for example, at the beginning I saw the arrival of AI a bit like the day of apocalypse for us artists. And from a certain point of view, it really was. Most of my work as an illustrator, logo designer, layout, video editing, photo editing, just to name a few, was at risk. When the client has the possibility to create all this with artificial intelligence without asking for the assistance of a professional, can you understand that the work of the graphic design was destined to disappear? At the beginning it was like this. Many people started doing everything themselves, such as a caricature or a logo. There was an app dedicated to everything that with a few clicks allowed you to do anything in a short time. After some time, however, people began to understand that to create decent things using AI, creativity is still needed. Creativity that can be inside a prompt too, and not all of us have it. And then they started to appear in the ads of customers looking for an AI expert for creating logos, animations or photo editing, for example. And from here a new opportunity was born for us artists. But the old method also remains, because many want the works to be done at the old way. We artists can only choose whether or not to exploit AI in our work. But now let's go and see some example of how exploit its potential. Let's start from ChatGPT, for example. You may be wondering what a graphic designer needs. But in a creative process, for example, of a commercial for a soft drink, it can help us to quickly create a script. Starting from this script, we can develop the idea and obviously make it much more creative. If you have a day that you can't develop ideas, well, this can be very useful. Or you have to create a draft very quickly because you could lose the new client, this speeds up your work. Obviously, you will have to work on what ChatGPT writes and put something of your own to develop a sketch. But here we already have a complete script where there is everything we need for a commercial. Such as a great slogan, flavor that changes everything. But the even more interesting thing is that ChatGPT can also create images from this spot. Not drawings but photos that can help us, for example, in choosing the shots or can give us ideas for the scenography. But another interesting thing that can help us understand if it's the direction we want our project to take and if it can work on a marketing level. Whether it's a video or a social media banner, here we can already make an initial selection of what we want to present to the client. The storyboard is fundamental for the realization of a project, and having the possibility to design and prepare a draft quickly to refine greatly speeds up our workflow. Maybe in the future this will make us even lazier in coming up with the new ideas, but for those like me who do this job, it's all very useful. But let's move on to the next one. What I wanted to talk about now, always about AI. Do you remember this shot of mine on One Piece? If you haven't seen it, here you can find all the links and tutorials on how I made it. In this video, in the background, there are mountains, as you can see. This was the PNG that I downloaded from the web, but as you can see, it's cut on the right and left. Now I'm going to take a similar image from the web to show you a trick that can be very useful in these cases where AI can help us. For example, I save this photo. I'm going to import it into Procreate. As you can see, it's very small, but this is because the canvas I usually work on is very large. But I leave it in the center with these sides. I want there to be an edge on the outside. My goal is to fill the image in this border, but to do that I will obviously use AI to speed up the work. But how to do it? First thing, I export the image and save it in the gallery. Next step, we move to the web and go to Adobe Firefly. Firefly is the AI engine found in software such as Photoshop. Choose Create on Firefly. Here a world opens up with many options that Firefly makes available to us. Being the free online version, it has many limitations, but to do a job like we are about to see it is sufficient. Once the image is uploaded, with the Insert tool I draw on the white part of the image. Once you have erased all the white border with a simple prompt such as expand mountains, and with a little patience, Firefly expands our photo in a very simple and above all realistic way. It gives us 3 results to choose from, or we can click more and generate more results. Then you can choose one and download it directly. In the project on One Piece, I did a similar job for the creation of the background. I needed to enlarge the mountains without wasting too much time drawing it. For this, I used Firefly in this way. I could have chosen other mountains, but I wanted to test the efficiency of this online tool, and I can tell you that using the Mac version, in some cases the online version is superior. Maybe because working with information directly on the web has fewer filters than, for example, the Photoshop version, and therefore the performance is better. One factor is very important, especially the definition of images downloaded from the web. Above all, you will have noticed if, for example, you import an image on Dreams taken from the web at low resolution, you will see it very grainy. But how can we solve this problem? There is an online tool called Upscale Media that will be really useful to you. You can upscale at least 2 images per day in the free version, and obviously it uses AI to increase the definition of the images you will upload above. To help you better understand the potential of this tool, I take an image with a lower resolution. Like this one, where the resolution is lower than the HD standard. First thing, we save it in the gallery and go back to upscale media. I think the waiting time for the upscale depends on both your connection and the traffic online, but generally the process is very quick. If you look at the values of the upscale result, it has resized the image by doubling the size and above all by increasing the definition with the filters inserted by the AI. We also have the possibility to further increase the size and consequently the definition of the image, and to increase the quality. But for now let's keep this one, as I will show you by importing the image into Procreate, the difference will be very noticeable. Let's compare both. This is the first one downloaded. As you can see, when imported it has these small dimensions. If instead I upload the generated image, the dimensions, as you can see, are double. In these cases, what we are on Procreate or Dreams, our raster images will lose definition when we enlarge them in the scene. But if we have a very large and defined image, this problem can be greatly reduced. If I increase the size of the first image downloaded from the web to the same size as the generated version and compare them, it's easy can see the difference in definition. And if you are not convinced, look at the tree in the foreground. No upscale with upscale. Before we say goodbye, I want to show you one last thing that has recently been added to the online version of Firefly that I recommend you go and see and try if you haven't done so yet. The possibility to generate videos. Very short for now, but this feature will evolve a lot over time and we must be ready to make the most of it. The interesting thing, for example, that I upload an image. Let's go choose this background that we saw before. I'll give it a very simple prompt like generate a sunrise in the background. I'm faster at animating in Dreams than I'm at writing. Okay, generate. Obviously, it's a very quick experiment. On the left, there are other things we can go and modify, like the camera movements. But this is for now to show you what can be done with the AI. After an infinite wait, this is the result. Considering that, apart from the wait that AI needs to generate the video, it took me just a few seconds to create a very interesting result. Obviously, it has many defects, and you need to work much better with the prompts to get the best out of this tool. AI is already actively used for content creation, for example, on social media, and Firefly is a very interesting tool, even if it's still very young. Once we have created the video we can save it directly in the gallery. With a few clicks, it will be ours forever. Yes! As I was saying before, there is certainly still a lot to do here, but with the speed with which I managed to obtain a result like this, imagine what we could achieve by applying other ideas on top. Do you know all those gurus who promise to make you money with AI? Well, I'm not one of those. But in today's video I was interested in showing you some of the tools I use on iPad that take advantage of AI. There are still many things to discover and many tools that exploit the potential offered by this new technology, and I think we'll all need to learn to use it so as not to be left behind. Where there is an obstacle, sometimes there can also be an opportunity, and you have to know how to reinvent yourself. Sometimes, especially if you work in a sector that moves at a very high speed, like the world of graphics. If you are interested in learning more about the topic, write to me in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and